Okay, R2, I think we're all set and ready to go for the show. How's that wall coming? Well, it looks pretty good. You can barely tell there was a laser blast in it. Hey YouTube, and welcome to Groove Builders. I'm your host, Disorderly Cone, and just off here to the right is my friend R2D2. We were just checking out the hangar bay here because we're going to be adding a brand new spaceship to our collection today. Of course, I'm speaking of Kilo Rens Tie Silencer from the guys over at Metal Earth. This looks like a pretty neat little kit, so let's get down to the workbench and see exactly what we need to get started.
Alright Groove Builders, welcome to the workbench. We have our Star Wars Metal Earth Kilo Rens Tie Silencer and some pretty awesome new Star Wars packaging. I also really like that new Metal Earth logo. On the back we have some package contents, 2 metal sheets and some instructions. Just below that we have some information on how to build our model and some brief diagrams on how to twist our tabs. This little QWERTY code will give us a 360 view of our Tie Silencer if we need it while we're building. And at the bottom we get a brief glimpse at all the really cool new models in the series. Let's go ahead and open up the package. We have our instructions, and we have our metal. 2 Star Wars themed sheets of metal. Alright Groove Builders, let's get building. Groove Builders, cutting into our first couple of pieces of metal and beginning our shaping and forming, I'm starting to realize that I've been leaving something out of all of my recent videos, and that of course is the instructions, which is kind of important if you're new to metal model building. I really have been trying to do my best to strike a good balance between entertainment and information. So Groove Builders, if I ever leave anything out and you have some questions, don't forget to leave a comment down below. I always do my best to read every single comment and answer any questions you guys may have. Let's look at the directions for Kilo Rens Tie Silencer together. The first thing we see when we look at the directions is that really awesome depiction of Kilo Rens Tie Silencer. Just below that, we have this little QWERTY code that we can scan to get a 360 view of our model while we're building. This can be very useful when we're not sure where certain parts go or how tabs are bent. Now, just below our QWERTY code and to the left, we get a nice picture of one of our pieces. If you look closely, it shows you what our fold lines, insertion holes, and tabs look like on each part. Then we have our legend, which contains a whole bunch of information on how to build special parts of our model. The first item we see under legends is the engraved side icon. When you see this, it's very important to make sure that the engraved side is up on the model. The same but opposite can be said for the non-engraved side just below it. When you see this symbol, it's very important to make sure that you put the non-engraved side up. Just below that we have the attention point, which is more or less just directing our actual attention to a specific part and or piece going together. Then we have our circles, which are extremely important because anytime we see these circles, we want to take our tabs and bend them 90 degrees. When we see these triangles littered throughout the directions, we want to make sure we grab those tabs and twist them 90 degrees. Groove Builders, it's important to say here that following the directions is key. If the directions are telling you to do a twist bend, do the twist bend. If they're telling you to do a fold, do the fold. Sometimes these can be for cosmetic, especially if they're on the outside of the model. When they're on the outside, you can have a little bit more artistic freedom. However, deviating from any of the directions can sometimes lead to you breaking your models, or they just don't turn out as good as they would have. Then we have our recommended tools, which I think is really neat because they've included a lot more than they typically do with our normal instructions. Now, the wire cutters are extremely important because you're going to need these to cut out all of the pieces. If you try to take the pieces out without any cutters, you're going to end up bending the piece to the point where it's going to be almost unrecognizable, or it's going to be so brittle it's going to snap once you try to form it. So Groove Builders, wire cutters are a definite necessity for this build. Now just below that it tells us we need tweezers and needle nose pliers. A normal set of tweezers will do fine for your first couple of builds. However, if you're looking to do this more as a hobby, you might want to look at getting yourself a set of detail tweezers. They are really awesome and have all different kinds of angles that we can use to get difficult tabs in hard to reach areas. The needle nose pliers are good to have on hand just in case you run into any long tabs of metal that need to be bent. Trying to bend these with smaller tweezers usually ends with warping at least a part of the metal. With needle nose pliers, because of their long surface area, they allow you to bend bigger pieces in a nice straight fashion. You can also unwarp pieces by compressing them between the needle nose pliers to straighten them out. A clever little trick if you need it, groovers. One more tool that you're going to see me using but not listed in recommended tools is a doming set. I definitely recommend getting a set of these if you're looking to build these as a hobby, because they are really good for forming any kind of dome shape or tube shape that we often encounter when building metal models. And lastly, at the bottom we have a diagram of our two metal sheets. If you look very closely, you'll notice that we have both color and numbers associated with the parts. The numbers correspond with the different pieces needed in the instructions, while all the colors represent duplicate parts. Keep that in mind, groovers, while you're building. One more little tip: make sure to orientate your metal at the beginning of your build to these two diagrams. If you do that, you'll be able to find your pieces a lot easier. And that, groove builders, pretty much sums up our directions. So what's with Kilo Rens Tie Silencer? To understand how this TIE fighter came to be, we have to understand Kylo Ren. Kylo, the apprentice of Supreme Leader Snoke, was an expert pilot like his, spoiler alert, father and grandfather Han Solo and Anakin Skywalker. Due to this kid's serious piloting skills, he got to field test a unique starfighter known as the TIE Silencer. Developed by Snare Fleet Systems, the corporation utilized Ren's detailed post-flight reports to improve the vessel's onboard systems, making it stronger and more agile to fit Kylo's preferences. As the champion of the First Order, Kylo utilized the silencer in many missions to destroy the Resistance, but he didn't always win. Ren participated in the First Order attack on the Resistance fleet shortly after the evacuation of Dakar. He used the TIE Silencer to destroy the Raddus hangar, killing several pilots before moving the attack onto the bridge. However, he was unable to open fire due to his mother, General Leia, being on the bridge at the time of the attack. Ren was then forced to pilot his starfighter back to the Supremacy ship at the advice of General Hux, due to the Resistance fleet managing to outpace the First Order's flagship, leaving him without support and at risk of being shot down.
Everything seems clear in our sector, sir. A TIE Silencer! Oh no! Oh, hey, groove builders, and welcome back! We just finished building Kilo Ren's Tie Silencer, and I must say this build was quite awesome. Let's talk about what it took to build Kilo Ren's Tie Silencer in construction. My first point that I want to make when it comes to building Kilo Ren's Tie Silencer is how important it is to make sure that you're shaping all the pieces exactly like the instructions tell you. With this build in particular, that's fairly important. If you make sure to take the time and look at exactly how the piece is shaped, you'll have very little trouble building this particular model. My second point when it comes to building Kilo Ren's Tie Silencer is one that I've made in the past, and is actually more of a tip when it comes to building not just this particular model, but other metal models. It's really good to look ahead in the directions and pre-bend all of your tabs. This makes connecting different parts together really easy, and when it comes to securing them, it makes it even better. One of the worst things you can possibly have is a very janky, rickety model. As you can see on this one here, I can kind of shake it around and nothing is loose, and I make sure I do this by grabbing as much of the tab as possible. You can do that by maximizing the amount of tab that goes into the insertion hole. By pre-bending all of your tabs, this becomes a lot easier to do. And with that, groove builders, let's move on to build time. Kilo Ren's Tie Silencer didn't really take too long, only about an hour and 45 minutes, and that was with me messing with my camera. I don't imagine it taking very much longer for you groove builders out there, and that's because of how simple and straightforward this model is to build. But before I get too carried away with that, let's move on to my thoughts. Alright now, groove builders, I'm going to be honest with you. I was expecting something a lot more complicated with Kilo Ren's Tie Silencer than what I got, especially given how notoriously complicated the TIE Fighter series is from Metal Earth. I didn't encounter any of those complications with the TIE Silencer. Besides the dome and the 4 half cylinders, this model is extremely straightforward, and because of that, I can recommend the TIE Silencer along with the Millennium Falcon to anyone who's new to Metal Earth and looking to start the Star Wars series. Both these models contain really good basic metal bending techniques that you will need to understand and master for more complex models down the road. Alright now, groove builders, that brings us to the end of our show. I had a really good time building Kilo Ren's Tie Silencer with you, and if you guys had a good time, don't forget to press that like button. For more videos like this, hit subscribe as well, as we got all kinds of really cool content coming out in the future. Until next time, groove builders, keep building. Oh no, R2, not again.